Welcome. Today in this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to uh, animate a material to get like moving chain like this or moving lamp like this as well. And as well, we're gonna learn how to do the flickering effect of the light. So let's start with the chain first. So I'm gonna go into the chain material. I'm gonna go in the material instance. I'm gonna go in the normal material. So this material function, so use the material attribute from so any material. Right there, I'm using a megascan material. So we're using the material attribute. We plug that into the material function, and we get a change result. Okay. So we're gonna create a material function. So I'm gonna go in material function, and we're gonna create a material function right there. I'm gonna call that mf underscore. I'm gonna call that wall position sway tutorial, and we're gonna open that. Okay, so first, we want to take the information of the material attribute. So we're gonna actually take a function input and change the input type to function material attribute, and we're gonna call that MA or material attribute. Now we're gonna get material, so we use the get material attribute, and we're gonna set material. So we're gonna change the material attribute, and so here I'm gonna add one element, and it's gonna be the world position offset right there. Okay. So now to animate, we need a time node, we need a multiplier, and we need to scale this with a function input, which is gonna be a scalar, and we're gonna rename that to the speed. Okay. So here I'm gonna plug that here, plug that here. Now I'm gonna add this node, add, and I'm gonna keep that for later to add randomness to our material. So here we're gonna take sine node, and I'm gonna duplicate this to 3 sine node. And if you don't know what a sine node does, I'm gonna show you here in the graph how a sine works. So it basically goes from -1 to 1, and if you multiply this with a time node, you actually can animate thing. So here I'm gonna change the value to 1.22, 1.33. Okay, so here we're gonna bring 2 add node, so we can add sine together right there and right here. Make some place, and so first we're gonna add multiply, and this one's gonna be the mask input. So here I'm gonna change that to scalar, and I'm gonna name that as mask input. I'm gonna plug that into B. Here I'm gonna bring another multiply node, and so I'm gonna bring another function input. This one's gonna be scalar as well, and I mean it's gonna be a vector tree, and that's gonna be the direction. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring another multiply node, and this one it's gonna be the sway of scalar. We need a scalar, and that's gonna be the sway intensity right there. I'll plug that here. Now I'm gonna plug that into the wall position. So we take the material attribute from the material, and we just change the wall position, which is gonna be this too. So we add the animation of a sway right there, and so here I'm gonna plug the material attribute into the output result. I'm gonna hit save, save and apply. Now I'm gonna go back to my material. So here I can delete this, and so we're gonna bring our material function right there. Yeah, first thing, so we wanna go there in this function input, and we're gonna change that to 1 minus, so of the sort priority. So we actually have the material attribute on the top of the material function. So I'm gonna plug that here, plug that here. I'm gonna right click here to promote to a parameter. So this one's gonna be direction 1. This one's gonna be so sway intensity, and this one's gonna be the speed. Okay, so now for the mask input, we're gonna use a bounding box. It's the one right there. If you don't know what a bounding box does, it's simply just I'm gonna show you right there with multiply by 1. You can actually preview the thing. So here is the bounding box. So you just mask one direction from of a mesh, and we're gonna add a 1 minus node right there, so we can mask the top of the mesh right there. So we actually don't want to see the top of the chain moving. We only want the bottom of the chain. So that's why we use the mask right there to not animate the top of the chain right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit apply, save, and now as you can see, so this one using this material, so the one we just made, we just change, and as you can see here, I can open the material instance here, and now I'm gonna look for the sway intensity. So I already have a speed of 0.2, and I'm gonna change it to 1. I'm gonna change first the direction. So I'm gonna use the R channel, which is gonna be the X channel. I'm gonna plug a 1 value, and as you can see here, we did create a sway, an animate motion sway. Here, just to showcase, I changed the sway intensity, as you can see, but it doesn't look really natural. So I'm gonna use some like natural movement. And now the problem is if we actually duplicate this, as you can see right now, they do have the same animation. So to fix that, we're gonna go back to the material function. And so we're gonna bring an object position world space, object position, world space right there. We're gonna add a multiply. So I'm gonna bring a constant tree right there, and I'm gonna change its x value to 1, y value to 0.125, and this one to 133. And here, I'm gonna add a divide node right there. Plug that here, and I'm gonna call a function input. This one's gonna be a scalar, and its name is gonna be the seed. So this one is used to if you change the number of the seed. So let's say you plug 1.2, you're gonna change the value of the result right there. So you're gonna have a different motion. I mean, you can change the intensity and the time. I mean, the value to change the time and the intensity. So here I'm gonna add a break fault tree component, and we're gonna add all together. And we're gonna use the frac node. And if you don't know what frac does, I'm gonna show you now right there how frac function. So here I'm gonna plug the frac into the B socket right there. So we basically, depending on the object position, we get a value, and we add this to the time here, so we can change the value of the time and speed right there. So depending on the position, you will have a different time and speed of the animation. Okay, and so now we're gonna take this node right there, and I'm gonna copy and paste. So just Control D here, and I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna use the same function input, so the seed scalar. and plug that into B. So if we change the value here, that's going to change here and here. And here I take the frac and I'm going to bring a multiply node first. And I'm going to multiply this, so the sway intensity, by the frac right there. I'm going to plug that here. And now here, depending on the object position, we're going to change the sway intensity. So we have different sway intensity and we have different speed of the animated chain. So here I'm going to hit apply, hit save. Here I'm going to bring the parameter right there. I'm going to hit apply, save. Okay, so now I'm going to go in the landscape, in the scene. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to plug a seed value of 1. Maybe I'm going to plug an intensity of 10 just to showcase, and a speed of 1 as well. And here I'm going to duplicate this to multiple actor. And as you can see, we have a different sway intensity and we do have a different speed as well. So we have different motion. Okay, so now last thing, we maybe want to add some different direction. So now we have only the direction on the x-axis, as you can see right there, direction x. So r is x, and we want to add one more. So I'm going to copy paste that, change the name to direction 2 right here, change its value, default value to so of g to 1. I'm gonna change that to 1 as default value as well here, and we're gonna add both together. And just to make sure, we're gonna normalize that here, right there, and I'm gonna plug that here, hit apply, and now, as you can see, we had a sway on both direction. And I'm gonna change that to maybe a more realistic way of animation. Okay, so now, so this is Megascan material, and this is as well Megascan material. And so if I do, if we did add this material function into the Megascan material, the base material, now because this material also use the same material, now if I go to this material instance, I do have my speed and intensity. And so here, if I change the sway intensity to, let's say, 10 to showcase, I don't think that will be very much realistic with the lamp. So here is the wire, and here I'm going to change this as well to 10. And as you can see now, we have a sway of the lights right there. So I'm going to change that to a more realistic sway intensity. So this one's going to be here, and this one's going to be the same. And as you can see, we have a more realistic animation right there. Okay. Okay, so now last thing we want to do, we're gonna do some flickering effect on the light. So this is very easy, but I just want to show that to add like life to your scene. So here I'm gonna go into the light setting here, and as you can see, we have light function material. So I'm gonna remove the one I just made before, and we're gonna make another one. So my content in my material, and I'm gonna create another material. I'm gonna call that material. It's gonna be tutorial flickering. I'm gonna open this one. Okay, so first you need to make sure here in material domain it's in light function right there. Okay, so we're gonna add a time node. We're gonna add a speed node. So I Alt S left click to bring a parameter, and we're gonna multiply these two, and we're gonna add 3 sine. So as before, and we're gonna use and increase the period time. So this one's gonna be 2.9. This one's gonna be, let's say, 3.15 or 45, and this one's gonna be 4. Let's say 6. Okay, so here I'm gonna add 3 multiply node. I'm gonna plug that here and here. So I'm gonna bring a parameter, and I'm gonna call that sine 1, and I'm gonna duplicate 2 of those right there. Name that to sine 2 and this one to sine 3, and we're gonna plug this in here, this one here, and this one here. So this first one's gonna be a 0.66, and this one's gonna be 0.77. This one's gonna be 0.88. So what this does, it's actually so changing the sign. So if you want to have different period on a sign, so to have different flickering, you want to change these values. So you want to change each different period of the sign. So here, so it's 2.9. So if I multiply 2.9 by so 0.66, as you can see, we lower and we change the value right there. So I'm gonna go back to 2.9 here, and now we're gonna add node right there, here. Now we're gonna add a frac node, and now last thing, I wanna add a parameter which is gonna be the offset brightness. So this is basically if you want to clamp the value of the light. So let's say you don't want to have your light flickering all the way to the very black color, and maybe you want to have like less black. So let's say I'm gonna bring that to 0.5, and now my light's gonna go from pure white, so 1, to 0.5, so mid between white and black. And so if I change this value to 1, I'm gonna have only a white value. So here I'm gonna go back to, let's say, 0.4, I believe. Here I'm gonna hit apply, save, and I'm gonna go back to my scene right there. I'm gonna remove the lights as well, so we don't have any flickering. And here, so I want to take the material we just made, and we're gonna create material instance. I'm not gonna rename that, but I'm gonna use that. So I'm gonna left click, and I'm gonna plug that here. Now I'm gonna use the material instance right there. And now we're gonna change so first the speed. So I actually changed that one. As you can see, we create a random flickering effect on the light. And here, if you want to use this so different flickering, we're gonna have to go here. We take the same material instance, and we're gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna rename that as so the first one. So this one's gonna be the first one, and this one's gonna be the second one. And so here, I'm gonna plug the one I just made, so a different one to this one, and I'm gonna go in the material instance of the new one, and I'm going to change its speed to, let's say, 0.8. And as you can see now, we've just made two different flickering effects on the lights. All right, guys. So thanks for watching me. I hope this tutorial just helped you. And if you like the video, don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe, and like the video. And see you, I hope, on the next video. Goodbye.